Hello, everyone. I know I said the next thing I would be doing is Cardfight Vanguard and Yu-Gi-Oh! They're proper animes, at least. But unfortunately, I'm still not caught up with either. So until then, so I have something to hold over for the week, let's talk about the Sky Striker anime since that just came out and I literally just watched it 5 minutes ago. Um, First up, a little preamble. I was really excited for this. I remember seeing the Yu-Gi-Oh! Animation Chronicle thing they did last year and being really hyped to see all our favorite archetypes get the animation treatment, learn about their lore, see how all the cards connect, see the inspiration for the art and how it all forms a narrative. I was super excited going into this. And when we finally got that confirmation for the Sky Strike run, I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Here we fucking go. And it was so cool to see the whole community get excited for this. I feel like the Yu-Gi-Oh community is this very odd group of people who are against fun and happiness. They never really want anything to just be enjoyable or to entertain them. Everything has to be about the bottom line of how is this silly cardboard going to make them feel like big, strong, big dick men. So to see that people were genuinely interested to see where this was going to go, I thought was a really nice moment to be a Yu-Gi-Oh fan. And as far as the short goes, I liked it. I had fun with this. Yeah, it's only 4 minutes long, but I kind of feel like they do a good job of using that 4 minutes effectively to both give you what you came for and also enhance the story of the Sky Striker lore. When we see, from everything we see, rather it's Ace, Ray, the Link 2, seeing her go into Kagari, seeing Widow Anchor, seeing the drones and stuff. I thought all this was just really cool, seeing it all come together and how it all just kind of works and relate to each other. I think it's just a lot of fun. All the stuff we've speculated about whenever we look at these cards, to see it all come together into one cohesive piece, I think is actually a lot of fun. And you know what? Screw it. I know people like to bitch and say that, oh, Sky Strikers, everything in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is catering to waifus. It needs to be like back in my days when Harpy Lady was just almost fucking naked all the time. Yeah, that's when Yu-Gi-Oh! Wasn't just all pandering to men and waifus. Yeah, if you couldn't tell, I really don't put a lot of stock into the bitching about Yu-Gi-Oh! Card artwork. The Sky Striker cards look cool. Yes, Ray and Rose are meant to be waifus, but look at all the various different mech cards in them and all the different spells and all of that stuff. And if you can't find anything to enjoy in that artwork, you are fucking dead inside. So yeah, to see all that come together, and also, I thought everything about this on a technical level worked. The animation was obviously fairly limited, but they knew how to use what they have effectively. Rather it's seeing just the size of the evil Sky Striker, or seeing the base come in, seeing Ray's intensity, seeing her basically do this great combination of both a Sentai morph and also a mecha summoning sequence when she goes Kagari, and just swinging into battle, the two in swordplay with each other, getting those nice little snippets of the past without really needing to monologue or give you a whole lot of backstory. I actually felt worked. I felt like you got everything you needed to know. These are two arch rivals who care about each other. You really get that sense that the minute Ray starts talking, she has the perfect combination of both intensity and desperation for you to feel like she is desperate to save Rose, to bring her back. And you see her facial expressions in all the flashbacks, and you see that sense of please, please come back to me. I think that's actually really well done and really well executed. Then you just have you have on the other end of thing, Rose. I like that it does look kind of creepy, her hooked up to the mech. I like when she talks at the end, you also get that sense of vulnerability and just we found each other. I thought everything about this was really well done. It was so cool to see, and I cannot wait to see what comes next. I think Fallen of Albaz is next. Good. I'm still struggling to understand how Sword Soul and Tri-Brigade fit in all that shit. I personally am very excited. Unfortunately, as I'm sure many of you are aware, The greater Yu-Gi-Oh community as a whole felt kind of let down by this and seems to be kind of annoyed. And I think, as the anime pundit guy, I should talk about this. Because I think I fall into a very interesting perspective, and that is I have a foot in each side of the Yu-Gi-Oh world. I am both an anime fan, when it's good, but I'm also a competitive player. I go to YCSs. I spend more money than I logically should on meta decks. So I kind of know a little bit about where both sides come from when it comes to the debate of how Yu-Gi-Oh as a franchise should be perceived and how it is being handled. I also want to point out for a minute, some people are, I think, a little worried and annoyed that they think that these shorts will be replacing the mainstream anime. At the time of this recording, Go Rush is over, and we have no confirmation about what is coming next or when it is coming. Because of this, many people are thinking Yu-Gi-Oh as an anime is over. My gut says probably not, and it will most likely be back, I think, sooner rather than later. I think this is like what happened at the end of Reigns. You're coming off of a series that, as far as I could tell, was pretty maligned in both sides of the planet. And I think taking a little time to maybe like restructure, figure out what you want to do is probably a good idea. So I am choosing to believe that things will probably be okay in the long run. We just kind of got to wait. Now, as for the competitive community and how they fit into all this, something that, and again, this is going to get a lot more into speculation, but this is just kind of what I've observed over the years, and that is that competitive players have this very flawed view of Yu-Gi-Oh as a franchise, where they believe that the anime and the attempt to appeal to kids and new players and casuals is what's ruining Yu-Gi-Oh! That the fact that there is a silly TV show that clogs sets, that is plastered all over products, that is in turn related to how there is not better pricing because of the belief that you are still trying to appeal to kids, that all of this is wrapped together and is the reason Yu-Gi-Oh! Cannot be the fake version of it that exists in their heads. Let's be honest, that's what this is. And again, I don't think most competitive players really realize this is what they're saying a lot of the times, and I don't even think they actually think it that intensely, but I think when they're just in the heat of the moment of being frustrated with Konami, I think that's then the mentality they develop, and I think it has led to a very large divide in Yu-Gi-Oh! That I don't think exists in other similar franchises. Most Pokemon fans, even if they haven't watched the anime in 20 years, are aware that Ash was retired and was replaced by Liko and Sprigatito. Most Yu-Gi-Oh! Fans, I don't think, are aware that there was a Go Rush or who Galactica Oblivion is or any of that. And a lot of that, I think, is this sense of resentment and this refusal to take interest or care about the franchise other than their specific interest in it. Now, I'm not saying every Yu-Gi-Oh! Player needs to be intimately familiar with the anime or other aspects of the franchise, but I do feel like more players should probably acknowledge that this is just what Yu-Gi-Oh! Is. And I kind of feel like when they saw the Sky Striker anime, they thought, anime based on things competitive players care about. Competitive players love Sky Striker. They love Branded. They love, I'm trying to remember what else was in that short. It was a long time ago, but you see my point. Yu-Gi-Oh! Players want to believe the franchise is meant for them specifically and their demographic alone. So when competitive players see this, they think this is Konami saying, we are committing ourselves to you guys permanently. And when they see that, instead of being a full-length anime, this was a 4-minute short meant to just be a lot of fan service and kind of ignite your imagination a little, I think many of them felt angry because they weren't getting the catering to they feel like they deserve. I could be wrong, and I'm sure there's a lot of people who perfectly respect the anime and its influence and what just Yu-Gi-Oh! Is as a whole. But if you ever take some time and listen to, I'm not going to name names, some pretty big people in this community, you're going to hear that mentality. And I feel like that mentality really took over how people judged this. But what did you think? In the comments section below, give me your thoughts on this. What do you want them to do next? What are some archetypes you'd love to see this? And as always, click to like, click to subscribe, and join me next time where we will be talking about the proper card game anime.